All right, a quick pros and cons video on the 2022 Volvo XC60. This is the B5 trim, and it is the Momentum all-wheel drive. If you haven't seen my full review on this already, check that out. It's going to be in the description box below. This is meant to serve as a quick kind of buyer's guide. Let's get started. The first pro is going to be the chill kind of driving demeanor that Volvo offers. It really kind of lowers your blood pressure. Driving it hot-blooded, flooring it all the time, that's not where you're going to get the full satisfaction in driving this Volvo. So that could be a con for some if you're looking for more of a sporty experience. But really, even if you go to a BMW or an Audi Q5, they're not going to offer a hot-blooded driving experience either, unless you get one of their performance variants. All of these cars kind of have a lack of soul, if you will, whereas Volvo has some soul to it, and that's what I really appreciate with their vehicles. Another pro is going to be this interior space. I really like the design layout in here. I like this white interior, the seats are comfortable, and just overall, it feels like a special place and a high-quality space to spend time. So you get that character in the driving feel as well as inside the cabin space. But let's get the two biggest cons out of the way. And one of the things that really kind of bugs me about this is going to be the way that they have the suspension tuned in this. The best way I can explain this is it's kind of like this jostling sensation when you go over a road terrain that is kind of uneven, right? One side is higher up, the other side kind of is lower down, and you kind of go over that. All the occupants, including the driver, kind of gets swayed about, and it's just very annoying for everybody that's sitting in the vehicle, right? It's just one of the worst feelings. That's not really an issue that can be fixed by just ordering smaller wheels or something, right? This particular car is fitted with the 20-inch wheels, but the ride quality is fine. It does a great job soaking up larger bumps and smaller bumps. And if you wanted, the XC60s come with the 18-inch wheels as standard. I would recommend opting for the 19-inch wheels. I think that's a good balance between price and looks, as well as a slightly better ride, but that's not really important here. The important thing is the way they have the suspension set up, and that's just not something that you can fix with the wheels and tires on this. I actually complained about this with the previous generation Lexus NX, the 2020 that I checked out. That also had a very similar characteristic to this, where you just kind of move about when you go over some of the terrain, and that's just very obnoxious. The other con to me, the biggest con to me, is this infotainment. Volvo has been doing this for a while now with their Sensus infotainment. Now we have the new Google infotainment for 2022, and it's a 9-inch screen. It's got a vertical orientation to it. That's all fine, but my issue is the climate control, all that stuff, very annoying to access when it's all kind of baked into the touchscreen here, as well as your heated seats and your heated steering wheel. All that stuff is implemented into the screen, and you always have to constantly take your eyes off the road to look at the screen to access it. So major distraction. I mean, they've been doing this for a while, so maybe Volvo owners got used to this already. Otherwise, I like the gauge cluster. That's simplistic, and it shows you some excellent information. It shows you the Google Maps inside of the gauge cluster as well, if you want to see that. And the other pro is, like I mentioned, very comfortable space to spend time in, and the Harman Kardon sound system is an excellent option to go for. It's about $800 or $900 option. I would definitely get that. Other pros, I really like the seating position in this. That kind of gives you some good driving confidence, and it feels pretty natural to drive overall. It's very not fatiguing in that sense. And one of the biggest pros is going to be the safety on a Volvo product. That alone is probably what's convincing you to purchase a Volvo product. And I admit that is very enticing, because if you have a family, you know that you're going to be safe in this vehicle. It's got 5 stars down the board, except for like rollover. This vehicle has like a 4-star crash test rating for that, but who cares? For the most part, this is one of the safest vehicles that you can possibly get. The other thing is, I always watch like the driver's side overlap tests on the IIHS YouTube page, and I've noticed that in those tests, Volvo vehicles, they always kind of do a great job deflecting that crash energy away from the occupants inside the vehicles. And safety is a big reason to consider a Volvo. Another pro is going to be the auto stop start. So because this has the 48-volt mild hybrid system, the auto stop starts are very smooth. In fact, I would actually leave that on. It'll help you get a little bit better MPGs. It's rated to get about 22 in the city and 28 on the highway, and that's pretty accurate. That's about what I get. Another con is going to be this gear lever knob. It's electronic, and you always have to press it down twice to go into driving. You have to press it up twice to go into reverse. Not a big deal, but if you just press it down once or press it up once, it only goes into neutral. So that's something to keep in mind there. Another pro is there's plenty of space in here. You know, I'm 5'11", getting in and out is very easy. The rear seats, I can sit behind myself, not an issue. You have heated seats back there with the climate control package. And the trunk also has a very large opening, very easy to get things in and out of. And you even have a spare tire back there as well. And with the seats folded down, I mean, you can just about carry anything that you need to. Interior feels solid in here when you open and close the doors. That's great. And the extra convenience package for $2,000 that's worth getting offers you a lot of features that you might actually want to use. In the way you'd see it here, it's about $54,000. You can get one for around $51,000, $52,000 on XC60 B5 trim level with the all-wheel drive. But the other thing is you can get a XC60 Recharge, which is the plug-in hybrid, for $60,000. So something to keep in mind there. That's kind of what they're enticing more people to get. It'll do about 90 miles of range on electric battery power alone. But as a whole, it's a good vehicle. I enjoy driving it. It's just that weird suspension setup along with this infotainment. That's just two things you had to get over. For most people, maybe not, it might not bug you as badly, but otherwise this was a great, natural, and unique driving experience that's totally different from what the German manufacturers do. I personally would still consider things like the Lexus RX 350 and the new Acura MDX. I think those are some excellent options that you might want to consider. But I get it. If the safety and the excellent audio system and this really cool kind of interior design is what's provoking you to get a Volvo, I totally understand. I don't think you'll hate this vehicle. So there you go. Watch my full review to get a detailed impression on this. But thanks again for watching. Take care and goodbye.